Hello.
Welcome to Hair Loss Goss.
It's James here.
And it's Sally here.
Hope you're all well. Thank you for coming back to episode 3 of Hair Loss Goss. Today we are talking about one of the most requested things that we were
Definitely
going to talk about ever.
That there is not enough information out there on this.
No. And it's a niche product, but it's becoming much more mainstream now, isn't it? That is hair systems. Mainly for men, but not just for men, not exclusively, but I would say the majority of our clients that come into Cheshire Hair Clinic are men who are looking for hair systems anyway.
Modern day hair.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of bad press around the word wig, toupee, syrup.
Massively.
What else do you want to call it? Don't think there is.
People call it rugs.
Rugs.
Well, I don't get that one.
I don't know.
Call it what you want. If you want to call it,
Yeah, call what you want.
Some of my guys call it a weave. Some of them call it a wig.
Hairpiece.
Graft. A graft.
Sally's from up to north.
No.
And I'm from south, so.
People say I'm posh, you know.
Who?
Loads of people say I talk dead posh. Don't diss my poshness.
Anyway, moving back to hair systems. So hair systems actually are very different to a wig or a toupee in that they're bonded to your scalp.
Yes.
It's a semi-permanent solution to hair loss. It's semi-permanent because we have to take it off to clean your scalp periodically, and because if there is any hair growth that is occurring underneath the hair system, once it's bonded to your scalp, then that obviously needs to be taken away to maintain that bond level on your scalp.
Yep.
So we just wanted to talk about hair systems, really, what they are, how they're made, what they're made of, how long they last and all that kind of stuff, and answering some questions that you guys have sent through from the previous episode.
Definitely.
So,
how many types of hair systems are there?
Bloomin' loads.
Loads.
So many, which is why it's important when you're new to hair systems that you engage with a specialist rather than trying to do it yourself. I'm not saying that you should never do it yourself, and I'm a big advocate of kind of getting to know your hair system yourself and living with it and potentially refitting, which we'll talk a bit later about at home. But I think when you're new to it and you are doing some research, you really speak to a specialist because it's very much dependent on your lifestyle. The majority of hair systems that we deal with are poly thin skin. So it's a layer of very thin, transparent material which has hair injected into it, either injected or knotted, depending on the kind of system. And then that material is then bonded to your scalp semi-permanently. And it'll be on your head.
I would say that's like a really common one, and it's a great one to start off with as well.
Yeah, there are loads of others as well. The more traditional style of hair systems are lace base mainly, which are really good in terms of breathability. And some of our toppers have lace bases on them as well, although it's not bonded to your head, is it? It's a clip-on solution.
You also have hybrid ones as well, which is for like athletes or people that are really high gym goers. And the reason why they're good is because they've got lace in the middle and then they've got poly on the perimeter, and they're so much more breathable.
Yeah.
But I always say to people when they come in for consultations, how do you know which one to go for? How do you know? And I always go off the lifestyle. I think poly is a great one to start with.
It's a good starter one for anyone, I think.
Definitely, because you won't know what adhesive is right for you when you start your hair system journey, whether it's going to be tape or glue or a mixture of tape and glue.
Yeah.
So a poly one is a great one because you can use both sorts of adhesive on them. So when you tried your adhesive, you can then work out, because a hybrid you can only use tape.
Yeah, hybrids are really good for people that are very, very active or very sweaty. But as Sally said, there's lots of different adhesive types as well. So it's not just a case of, I'll just wing it and try it myself and I'll just get a hair system from a supplier and then just stick it on my head and keep my fingers crossed. It doesn't really work like that.
There's lots of things that you've got to think about before you go into a hair system, like your density, then you've got your poly and your base, then what hairline you're going to use, then what style. Like there's so many things about hair systems that you might not get it on the first one, you might get it on the second or third time when you come for a refit. You don't know what you're going to like until you kind of start wearing it.
Yeah, so one of our questions that we got through was how does it stay on your head? because obviously people think about,
will it come off?
Will it come off?
Will it heck come off?
If someone pulls my hair in a semi-romantic situation, I had someone message me the other day, if I'm in bed with someone, wink, wink, and things got a bit fruity, and they pulled it, would it come off?
Would it?
Well, I can say from experience, no.
It's not going to come off. I don't know why people think that. Also, is it going to blow off in the wind? Is it going to blow off in the wind?
I think it's because the connection of the old wig toupee thing. It's completely different. It doesn't even look anything like it.
Did you watch, what's that thing on Netflix with the two brothers that killed the...
Little Monsters.
No, it was not Little Monsters. The Menendez brothers?
Yeah, Little Monsters.
Did you see it? His mum whipped off his hair system.
Yeah. Looked quite painful.
It did. And did he have hooks on his head?
Yeah, so I did some research about this because I was interested. The Lyle Menendez, who was the kid that had this hair system, his dad, who was a bit of a work and maybe shouldn't have been shot in the face with a shotgun. We're not to judge. He said to his son, only successful people have hair. And he was going, and obviously Lyle was going bald at a very young age, as you do sometimes as a young male. And he said, so I'm gonna take you and I'm gonna get you a wig. And it wasn't obviously a hair system at the time; it was called a wig. But he had metal hooks inserted into his scalp where this thing would sit, either on magnets or hooks. I'm not sure. And then when he went to prison, obviously
he started shocking out, didn't he? Because he couldn't get his tapes and glue.
Clean his own system. But I think what that program did show was actually how the connection between your personality and how you feel about yourself and hair.
Definitely.
Because when he took that hair system off, or wig, or whatever it was he had, it completely changed him as a person. It made him very insecure. He didn't really, he wasn't himself anymore.
But anyway, we don't know what type of hair system that was, apart from it was put onto a hook.
Yeah, it wasn't.
We don't do that.
We don't do that.
We don't do that.
Don't worry. If anyone's listening, considering a hair system, don't worry. That's not going to happen with us.
No. The point is, you won't know what adhesive is right for you until you start that hair system journey.
Correct. And coming to a hair system specialist, whether it is us or someone else, getting as much information as you can first and making sure they know what they're doing too. We've had a lot of situations in the past where clients have come to us and they've not been happy and they are really, really this close to just throwing it all in and go, I can't be bothered with it anymore. I'm just going to chuck it in the bin. And we've turned them around because we've been able to give them the support and guidance and advice that they needed at the very beginning, and they should have got it at the beginning.
Another one to consider is what hairline.
Yeah, totally.
So you've got to know what style that you're going to have, because there's three main types of hairlines. You've got your lace hairline, which I would say is for the more experienced people who are doing lace. The reason why is because they're more high maintenance. You don't ever put glue on the actual lace system. You only ever put it on your scalp. So after 3-4 days, I think you have to glue it down. You've got a poly hairline, which is a straight one, which is great for if you're wearing your hair down style and not exposing the hairline. And then you've got a poly serrated edge one, which is like little tiny teeth. And that is for people that's more exposed. But they can be a little bit of a faff when the system becomes a little bit old. Yeah. Because them teeth go underneath the poly. And oh my God, it's so frustrating when they bend over when you're refitting it.
Yeah. Well, I have a straight line poly, but I still expose my hairline sometimes.
So you can,
But it just depends on the thickness of the poly. What we're trying to say is that there are lots of variables within a system. It's not just a case of just buying it off the shelf and sticking it on your head. And if you want it to look realistic and kind of work with you and your lifestyle, you really have to have an expert that understands what they do and what they don't do, and also manage that expectation.
So you've got a hair system on and you've wore one for how many years?
It's coming up 7 years now.
What does it feel like? I know I fit them, but I have no idea what they feel like.
Yeah, so as I was saying earlier, I don't feel like it's on my head at all, but that's because I'm used to having it. When I first had it on, and bear in mind, my first system was absolutely shocking.
It was really bad.
It was awful. I said in a previous episode, it was a dead guinea pig. It was worse than that. It was like 2 dead guinea pigs. And the colour was wrong and the density was wrong and
everything. But how does it feel though?
Now, I can't feel it. It becomes part of you.
Yeah.
You don't feel that it's on your head. The only time that you do feel it is you might get a little itch where either your hair's growing through or that's your time that your body's telling you, well, you need to refit it.
Like, you will get lifts when you're wearing a hair system. It's completely normal.
What's a lift, though?
A lift. Like, when the core, like, so if you're coming up to a refit, you have your hairline. If you've done sports or something, sometimes the corner of the hair system might lift up a little bit.
Only a little bit.
Does not mean that your hair system's going to fall off.
No, they are properly stuck on.
Like, people really stress about it. And I stress to them that when you're starting out, you'll think that's a really big thing. But then 6 months down the line, when you've wore the hair system, it's really not a big thing.
It's not.
Because you might be able to feel it, but no one else will.
It's a big learning curve at the very beginning. And It's a big change, right? You're not used to having hair, and then you have hair. And another episode, we're going to be talking about hair shock.
Oh, real thing.
It's a real thing for everyone. And having a hair system is a big learning curve. You have to learn an awful lot very quickly when you first have it done. But then once you've got that information, as time goes on, you realise actually it's not that much of an issue. I work out on average 3 times a week. I refit at home myself probably every 7 to 10 days.
Some people aren't confident enough to do it at home, though, and that's absolutely fine because they can just come into the salon. Do you shower with it?
Yeah.
Get wet?
Yeah. Go in the pool.
Do everything. Go on holiday.
You just live your life in it. So it's not something that lives away from you. It's something that lives with you all the time.
Yeah.
And the only time you have it taken off is for a refit. So that refit for me, is every 7 to 10 days. I've just worked out over the time that I've had it that's the perfect time for me. Some people can go 2 weeks.
Yeah, a lot of clients go 3 weeks around the time.
3 to 4.
You don't want to leave it on anymore, I think, because really you want to get it off, because at the end of the day, that hair system is sitting on your scalp, and you want to make sure that your scalp health is really healthy too.
And that's really important. Scalp health
Definitely.
is something that we need to focus on, because not many people take that into consideration.
So for the guys that suffer from eczema or psoriasis, yes, you can have a hair system. It's just going to mean that it needs to come off sooner, because you need to expose your head to some air, make sure that the old adhesive is off and the new one. But all adhesive's medical grade, isn't it?
Water-based, pH neutral and medical grade.
Yeah.
So there's nothing in those adhesives, whether we use a glue or a tape, which is like a double-sided sticky tape, nothing within there would ever kind of irritate your scalp. And at point of consultation, if you've never had a system before, we always do a glue match with you anyway, just to make sure. And if there is any irritation, then we've got plenty of other options.
And then maintenance wise, I see some people get put off by the maintenance because they do have to be refitted, but it's only the same time as when you need to go and have your sides done. Absolutely.
And if you get it done, if you do it at home, it's dead quick, because you can just do it at home in your own time. But if you come in and get a haircut at the same time, how long does it take for an hour and a bit?
Some between 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how that adhesive's coming off. Sometimes it can get a bit stuck on. But
so you go in for a normal haircut and it'll take you 25 minutes, half an hour. By the time you're in there, all told.
Yeah.
So we're just saying an extra 15, 20, 25 minutes maybe.
And then maintenance at home, just spray that leave-in conditioner in.
It's all about hydration with that.
100%.
And we'll talk a bit more about hair health and keeping it healthy and keeping it looking its best. But definitely keeping it hydrated.
Definitely.
What, any other questions that we got through?
I can't think of anything.
Like one about hair colour.
Hair colour.
A bit worried about it matching.
Well, every single system that we do either 10%, 20%, 30%, 40% or 50% grey.
You can even go up to 100% grey.
So if you start hair systems from a young age and you keep it for say 20 years, we can transition that colour with you. The aging process, I know we don't like aging process, but it is something that we all have to deal with.
It's all about realism, isn't it?
100%.
Keeping it real and making it look like it's always been there. So yeah, I think hair systems are so much more than just a clip-on wig or something that flows around in the wind.
Call it what you want.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, as long as it makes you feel confident.
Absolutely.
Well, if there's any other questions that we've not covered in this episode, give us a comment and we can cover it on another one.
Send us a message if you want. Say hi.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be back soon with another interesting episode, no doubt.
Hair shock.
No, I think it's toppers next, isn't it?
Oh, is it toppers?
Yeah, I think it's toppers.
Toppers. And
we're going to be talking to Sally next about toppers and her field of expertise. So one for the ladies. And then we're going to be talking about hair shock after that as well, I think.
How exciting.
Yeah.
See you there.
Catch you soon.
Bye.
Bye.